When preparing for a real estate interview, a lot of people focus most on being able to talk through their background and getting ready for potential technical questions that could come up. But there are a few things that I find are really commonly overlooked when it comes to this process. These are things that can put you way ahead of other candidates with just a few hours of prep, and these are well worth your time if you're serious about a role. So to make sure you're coming into these conversations ready to put your best foot forward, this video walks through 4 things to do before a real estate interview and how each of these can help you stand out from the competition. So the first thing you'll want to research before heading into a real estate interview is the current state of the markets the company is active within. This goes for both property types and geographic markets. So if the company you're interviewing with buys industrial properties throughout the Northeast United States, for example, you want to understand what's happening in the industrial sector nationally and also what's happening in the major markets that exist within that area. Brokerage firms like CBRE, Cushman & Wakefield, and Newmark will often publish free quarterly reports on their websites that can give you a great high-level overview of what's happening both nationally in a given sector and also specifically in a major metropolitan area. And a quick Google search for something like Industrial Market Report, followed by the name of major city and the most recent completed quarter should give you several helpful results to choose from when doing this research. These reports usually include things like vacancy levels, rent growth over time, and incoming supply information, which can all have an impact on valuations and company strategy overall. And going into an interview, just knowing the general trajectory of where things are headed can put you far ahead of other candidates that haven't taken the time to do this. And if you're not sure about where a company is active, most firms will have a portfolio page or a strategy page on their website that highlights the properties they currently own or the specific types of properties they're targeting, including size, location, and often general business plan. All of these things can help you more clearly answer questions related to why you're interested in working for this specific company or what types of opportunities you see for the firm going forward. And just by getting a high-level overview of commercial real estate performance in the markets the company is active within, this is usually all you're going to need to make a good impression if market-specific questions end up coming up. Now, the next thing you want to do before heading into a real estate interview is more related to the company itself rather than the markets it operates within. And this is researching acquisition and capital raising activity the company has recently done. A lot of firms will have a press or news page on their website, which can make this information really easy to find. But even if that's not the case, running a simple Google search for the company and using the news filter will get you any recently published articles that the company is featured within. Websites like Globe Street, BizNow, PR Newswire, and Connect CRE all tend to cover notable transactions in this industry, including both major acquisitions and capital raises. And if the company is publicly traded, you may also be able to get a lot of helpful insight into the company's most recent deal flow and overall strategy just by listening to their most recent earnings call. The goal with this is to come into the interview well informed about the firm itself and some of the company's most notable recent achievements, and this can also give you talking points when discussing your own interest in the job you'd be taking on. Now, beyond getting an understanding of product types, geographic markets, and company activity, the next thing I'd recommend doing to prepare is researching interest rate activity, specifically the rates that directly impact commercial real estate. In the US, these primarily boil down to the 1-month SOFR, along with the 5, 7, and 10-year US Treasury, since these are typically used as index rates to price both floating and fixed rate loans, and major movements in any of these can have material impacts on valuations within the real estate market. And in addition to current interest rates, you'll also want to research both where these rates have been over the last 12 to 24 months, along with where these rates are projected to go in both the short and the long term. Chatham Financial is one of the most commonly used resources by commercial real estate investors to find this information, but Pensford Financial is also another great resource for interest rate projections going forward. And for historical data, the Federal Reserve Bank of St. Louis also has very detailed information that can help you see this clearly. Especially during times when interest rates are volatile, like we're seeing at the end of 2024, these are often going to be at the top of an interviewer's mind. And if you're asked questions about where you believe interest rates might go in the future or how recent changes in rates are affecting the industry today, going in knowing this information up front will make sure you're prepared to talk through these topics in case they come up. Now, the last thing I want to mention here is often overlooked by candidates, but can make a huge difference during the interview process. And this is making a list of questions that you want to ask during the conversation before you head into an interview. If you take the time to do the things we've talked about already in this video, this list should be relatively easy to put together. And even if you're not asked about any of these topics directly, the questions you ask can say a lot about the way you've prepared for a conversation and how much effort you're putting into the interview process as a whole. For example, if you're interviewing for a role at a company focused on acquiring multifamily properties in the Southwest United States, and many of the company's target markets are seeing an uptick in new supply, you might ask a question related to how the firm plans to address this change or what their strategy is for their existing properties in the market. And if you're interviewing for a role with a lender, for example, and interest rates are projected to fall in the near future, you might ask a question related to the impact of these falling rates on pricing and deal terms and what their view on these changes is if these end up materializing. Things like significant capital raises, major acquisitions, or key new hires of senior personnel can also have major impacts on the way a company operates. So asking questions related to any of these topics can not only make you look good, but can also give you insights into how these things might affect the culture of the company and the work you'd be doing on a day-to-day basis. Even though you are the one being interviewed, companies will almost always save time for candidates to ask their own questions. But by coming prepared to do this, you have the opportunity to make it clear that you closely follow the industry, even if you're not already working in commercial real estate and you're taking the process seriously and being intentional about your applications. So while it's obviously important to prepare to talk through your background and to make sure your technical skills are where they need to be before heading into an interview, these are 4 commonly overlooked things that can help you stand out a lot among other candidates when interviewing for analyst or associate roles. And if you're looking for more commercial real estate application or interview strategies, or you want to make sure you're ready for an Excel modeling exam that might be given to you during the interview process, make sure to check out our all-in-one membership training platform, Breaking the CRE Academy. A membership to the Academy will give you instant access to over 120 hours of video training on real estate financial modeling and analysis. You'll get access to hundreds of practice Excel interview exam questions, sample acquisition case studies, and you'll also get access to the Breaking a CRE Analyst Certification exam, which covers topics like real estate pro forma and development modeling, commercial real estate lease modeling, equity waterfall modeling, and many other real estate financial analysis concepts that will help you prove to employers that you have what it takes to tackle the responsibilities of an analyst or associate at a top real estate firm. And if you like this video and want to see more content on commercial real estate interview prep, make sure to hit the like button and let me know. And let me know in the comments what other interview related topics you'd like to see covered in a future video on the channel. As always, thanks so much for watching, guys. I hope you found this helpful. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already to see more videos like this every single week, and I'll see you in the next video.